Hi everyone, and welcome back to Bridging Markets, the podcast where we explore how Canadian and Latin American healthcare innovators cross borders and scale. Before we dive in, thank you for tuning in, and if you have not subscribed yet, please do so. Our goal is to reach 100 subscribers by year end, and with your help, we will get there. I'm your host, Juan Sanchez, and today we will tackle a question every medtech and pharmaceutical company eventually asks. How quickly is new technology really adopted? We'll look at Canada, strong support for medical innovation, the barriers that can slow adoption across Latin America, and the powerful influence that US regulatory clearances have on both markets. Canada provides fertile ground for health innovation. Federal programs like the Canadian Institutes of Health Research and multiple provincial innovation funds offer steady long-term support to startups and established companies alike. Teaching hospitals and regional health authorities frequently partner with universities and private firms to pilot cutting-edge devices and digital solutions. These collaborations create a pipeline where promising ideas can be tested in real clinical settings with the right data and funding behind them. As a result of this, we see that there are more than 600 medtech manufacturers in Canada. Another key factor is proximity to the United States. Because the US market is both enormous and only a short regulatory step away, many Canadian hospitals look for products already cleared by the FDA. If a device has FDA approval, Canadian decision makers often feel far more confident adopting it quickly. This cross-border trust significantly shortens the time between research and real-world use in Canada. Regulation is the next big piece of the adoption puzzle. In Canada, Health Canada classifies medical devices from Class 1 to Class 4. The process is rigorous, but it's also transparent and predictable. Companies can plan their device generation, clinical trials, and approval timelines with confidence, which means fewer surprises and a clearer path to market. Latin America tells a different story. Each country has its own regulatory authority, COFEPRIS, Anvisa, INVIMA, just to mention three. Requirements vary widely, and for high-risk devices, approvals can easily stretch beyond 18 months, as we mentioned in a previous episode. This unpredictability slows pilots and delays first revenue for innovators, hoping to scale across multiple countries. But as we mentioned in another episode, there are other countries which have significant scale and shorter approval times, which allows to enter the market in a timely fashion. Many Latin American public health systems operate within tight budgets and must manage frequent currency volatility. Procurement rules often prioritize the lowest upfront price rather than long-term outcomes, which makes hospitals cautious about adopting expensive new technologies, even when those technologies promise better results or lower long-term costs. Reimbursement is equally important. Without clear reimbursement codes, hospital administrators hesitate to purchase technology they may never get paid for. Entering the market with a well-researched health economics plan, including a strategy to secure reimbursement codes in each country, is essential. At Curious Healthcare, we have deep experience helping companies navigate this process, so adoption becomes much easier. Capital-intensive technologies such as robotic surgery platforms or advanced imaging systems can be especially challenging to finance, yet the market clearly exists. Our research shows there are roughly 30 to 40 surgical robots operating in Canada and an estimated 100 to 120 across Latin America. Evidence that hospitals in the region do invest in high-cost, differentiated MedTech products when value is proven. Likewise, many advanced pharmaceuticals for rare diseases, treatments that can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars per patient per year, are already approved and sold in most major Latin American markets. High value innovation can succeed. It simply demands thoughtful planning and creative financing. Culture also shapes how technology gains traction. In Canada, adoption decisions usually pass through evidence-based committees that scrutinize clinical data and cost effectiveness before making a recommendation. In Latin America, relationships and trust often carry a bit more weight. A strong clinical champion, a respected physician who actively advocates for the technology, can be the deciding factor. We are not suggesting you skip steps, but it's critical to identify and empower a champion so that adoption is smoother and faster. Private healthcare providers are also growing more quickly than their public counterparts across much of the region. These private hospitals and clinics can move rapidly and often serve as early adopters. However, achieving national scale almost always requires public sector acceptance. Another emerging reality is the rise of large purchasing groups and provider consolidation. New entrants must plan a corporate strategy to engage with powerful buyers that negotiate on a regional or multi-country scale. Key examples include Grupo Banmédica, Auna, Crystal Health, Quirón Salud, and Grupo Patria, all of which operate across major markets and centralize purchasing decisions. Despite these challenges, opportunities abound. Telehealth and digital technologies saw explosive growth during the pandemic, breaking down barriers for remote monitoring and AI-driven diagnostics. Many of these technologies are now part of mainstream care and create new entry points for MedTech innovation. Regional hubs like Sao Paulo, Medellin, and Mexico now host vibrant incubators and venture funds dedicated to healthcare technology. These ecosystems attract investors, foster collaboration, and accelerate time to market for promising startups. So, what's the big takeaway? Technology adoption is never just about the gadget, it's about policy, funding, and people. Canada offers predictable regulation and robust research funding. Latin America offers vibrant growth but demands creative financing, careful regulatory planning, and a smart, flexible business development strategy. Thanks for listening to Bridging Markets. If you are planning to launch or scale in MedTech or pharma across these regions, connect with me on LinkedIn or visit Curious Healthcare. And stay tuned. In our next episode, we will dive into how to pick the right distributor, a critical step in turning early adoption into sustainable growth. Thank you so much and have a great day.